I use a lot of them. I don't use all of them. I use mainly Twitter, TikTok, and kind of Instagram and Snapchat, but mainly Twitter and TikTok, I think, are my main ones.
Instagram, Snapchat, occasionally Twitter, and occasionally Reddit.
I use Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok.
Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, if that counts.
I feel like TikTok is the app that has like the biggest impact in my life.
I use it pretty much every day. If you go to my screen time on my phone, it's literally just filled with social media apps.
Unfortunately, a lot. Like, it's just a part of growing up in kind of, I mean, I didn't grow up in the same way that kids right now are growing up, but, you know, growing up on the riding wave of social media becoming popular and the forming of like online discourse and things like that, it's definitely had an effect on me for better or for worse, especially TikTok as of recently. But
a lot. When I'm at work, if I have a break, I'll mostly go sit down and I'm either on Twitter or TikTok.
Because like that's the only thing I do, like in my free time.
I mean, Twitter is my personal diary, so I'd say a lot.
I'd say it's pretty influential because the music I listen to, I follow a lot of rappers on Instagram, so if they post something like they dropped a new song, then I'll go listen to it. But other than that, I don't necessarily search for new stuff to listen to through social media.
Oh, if something is trendy, like rings and things like that, like I will buy them. And like the music, all that, like I will hear the music depending like what TikTok music is like trending.
Mom, it was never a phase. It's a lifestyle. 'Cause I got your picture. I'm coming with you, dear Maria. Count me in. There's a story.
All the trends, I think, are kind of stupid.
on TikTok, it's super easy to identify trends, which is something I really appreciate about it, because if you want to make content and have it spread to a larger audience, just literally find one of the billions of trends that are on there. And it's super easy usually to make, and it's usually memes, for me at least. I know everyone's TikTok experience is tailored to them personally based on what they like and all that jazz. But for me, it's usually like memes and funny audios that can be used as like punchlines. And it's like, those are pretty easy to replicate.
It's like a popularity contest. Like everybody just wants to be noticed and wants the most views. And so if one popular person does it, like a celebrity will do it, then everybody's like, oh, if I do that, they'll watch me. So
on TikTok, like when I post, it's like dancing videos or something. On my spam account and Instagram, I just post like what I'm like when I'm hanging out with my friends.
I'd say I care a decent amount. I think most teenagers care, but yeah, I'd say I care a decent amount. I'm not like just doing whatever with no care. So yeah, I'm kind of in the middle.
And then yeah, like how I look or like how what I'm gonna post, like depending. Como si es polo.
I feel like that's all social media is really for now. Like it used to be a way to like connect with family, like that's more how Facebook is, but on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, it's like, look at this thing I did, like I did that, give me something from it. Like it's not, you can't just be happy with doing it yourself, you need other people to be happy for you.
Validation plays a huge role in it as well, though, because that's kind of the culture that's come out of it. Like, you know, there was like a time in my life when I was younger, when I first got Instagram for the first time, when it was still really old, and it's like you would get all your validation based on how popular your content was or how many people at school saw it or things like that. It's a double-sided sword. Like, it's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, I've found a lot of good validation from social media, like learning about my own mental illnesses and learning that there are people that struggle with the same things I do. And also, like, as far as being LGBT, like not being alone in my experiences as a non-binary person, as a bisexual person, especially recently with the wave of people kind of trying to knock down that biphobia that I talked about earlier, about how like you're only a valid bisexual feminine person if you praise women and hate men. Like, that's a very toxic biphobic mindset. And there have been people that have been coming out like, hey, if you like men and you're bi, like, that's great. That's totally normal. And it is. And that sucks because we shouldn't have to say that. But the validation can be good in certain scenarios. It can let people know that there are others like you, that you're not alone in your problems, that you are not going to just like fall out of the earth or whatever if something bad happens or anything like that. But it's also like you can become dependent on that validation, and it can seep into your subconscious without really thinking about it, because you consume that media on such a regular basis, at least for, you know, like normal people that are addicted to their phones like I am. And it's just a whole thing, like,
Just for validation, just to kind of show off and just look at this thing I have that you don't. Not always, but most of the time.
It feels good, but like it's also like kind of fake because like half of the people you don't even know.
I mean, it feels good, but it doesn't necessarily. If it doesn't, I don't think it hurts me.
If I sometimes I feel like if I don't post things, I feel like they think like I'm not doing anything, but like I'm actually am. You know, like I don't know how to explain it.
When I get likes on my posts, I'm just kind of like, okay. But when I'm streaming and I get a lot of viewers, I get really excited because it's more exposure. It's more people to talk to. It's just more fun when more people are there.
There has been scientific research done about like how social media will give you like dopamine highs and like things like that. And somebody like it works the same I mean, I'm not going to be one of those idiots that's like social media is like drugs. Like, no, they're two very fundamentally different things. But you have to admit there are some things where they function in a slightly similar way.
I don't know if there's like a set line because everybody's different. You know, some people use it a whole bunch and they're fine. Some people use it a whole bunch and they're not fine. It just depends on what you can handle, like, personally.
I made a TikTok. So the funny thing is that the TikTok algorithm is so complex and weird that sometimes this is what makes me really mad about the future, because I want to put TikTok on my resume, but I don't just want it to be old people coming up to me and being like, can you make us viral on TikTok? And I'm like, no, it's not that easy. But for some reason, I struck gold one time. I made TikToks before this a decent amount. I wasn't really doing it to become famous or anything. I was just doing them because I thought they were funny. And I made this TikTok because I found this one from this girl that ran a letter writing business on Etsy, similar to me right now, who wrote letters specifically from Draco Malfoy to people. And I was like, that looks so cool. So I duetted it, and I was like, oh my god, like, this is the coolest thing ever. I've literally wanted to do this since middle school. Like, I will literally pay pocket change for people to write me letters. And for some reason, it just took off. I hit 1 million views within a week or so, which had never, like, I had maybe gotten like a few thousand views before. The most a video I'd gotten before was like 11,000 views. And then all of a sudden I hit 1 million out of nowhere. And people are like hitting up my comments being like, what, can you write for this character that I've never heard of? Can you write for this pedophile clown from Hunter x Hunter? And I'm like, no, they were like, what are your commission prices? Like, how are you going to set up things? And I basically had to, with me having no idea how to run a small business, and I still don't, but like having to put all of that together on such short notice was like super wild. And then I think we started with maybe like 20 slots with me and my sister, because my sister knew more about the anime characters they were requesting, mainly like Haikyuu, the volleyball anime characters. And we sold out within like minutes, like as soon as we opened the shop. It was really crazy. And it was like on my own personal page. So then I had to make a completely separate TikTok page as well and start running that along with my own page where people were knocking down my door for these requests. It was so insane. But that was how we got our start in, I think it was October when we officially opened. But yeah, it's been crazy.
I stream Minecraft mostly, Phasmophobia, Doki Doki Literature Club, and I think that's all I've done so far, but I plan on doing others. A lot of my friends do it, and it just seemed like a cool way to make a little extra money, but it's also just really fun, so I decided to do it. Chatting with my friends, because they'll always hop on a Discord call with me and we'll just be shooting the shit. I don't know if I can say that. We're just hanging out and it's just, I don't know. It's nice to talk to people when you can't really see them because COVID.
Are you ever worried you'll be called out for something on social media?
Mm-hmm.
How worried?
A lot. Como todo lo de cancel, eso me hacía miedo.
I mean, possibly. I don't know what it'd be, but I think in the future it could be just anything because I think that's the way social media works now is cancel culture. Everyone could be called out for anything.
Like, people will bring up the past and it doesn't bother me anymore because I've, like, found peace within myself with what I did when I was 12 years old. But other people may still hold that against me, and I mean, if they want to, they can, but I don't know. I can defend myself enough.
Because, like, everything I post is going to stay there forever. So, like, if I post something bad, it's going to be there forever.
Sometimes it can be a little harmful because the wrong things can be spread really fast. Like, what was it, 2 Januaries ago, World War III was trending on Twitter and everybody was freaking out and nothing happened. It's just, sometimes it's bullshit and you're like, what was the point of that? But it happens.
Something I feel very passionately about, especially recently, is that the internet makes the world seem very black and white when it's not. And it's very easy to pick a side and be trapped in your own little bubble on the internet. So I try to stay away from discourse. The only time I'll really engage, if I ever do, is when it concerns somebody that I'm close to, or if they say something that, like, personally offends me or, like, can hurt other people. Like, that happens with my dad all the time, but that's in real life. That's not on social media. But, like, that's the only time I'll really engage, I think, in, like, bad stuff on the internet at least.